A stablecoin is now worth more than $231 billion. They now send more than $2,110 million every month as well. More than 25 million addresses are live, and more than 100 million people hold them. The crazy thing is that they keep getting bigger and bigger, and if you think this is crazy, I'm telling you right now that all of these numbers will 10 times in the next few years because stablecoins are not slowing down. In fact, some of the biggest names in the world, like the Federal Reserve, are speeding them up. Now that we think about the Federal Reserve, we also wonder what their plan is. We already know that they plan to use stablecoins. But is there a plan to use Ripple with XRP to tap into RLUSD specifically? Let's talk about that. Let's take a look at what's been going on with stablecoins over the last couple of weeks. Some time ago, Sam Broner from a 16Z wrote that the last month has been one of the most important in payment history. In this month, fintechs started to use stablecoins. Traditional payment companies are building an on-chain system from scratch. I break down the most important news and talk about what I think it means for the business world. The dates are May 7th through May 8th. Stripe starts offering stablecoin bank accounts, USPA customizable stablecoins, and a stablecoin-linked ramp card. Then, on the 7th, MoneyGram showed off its stablecoin cash on and off-ramp services in more than 70 countries. May 6th, Coinbase launches the X40.2 standard for stablecoin payments on the internet. Visa also announced on May 6th that it would be working with a bank to build stablecoin infrastructure. MasterCard and Visa are releasing stablecoin-linked cards for daily purchases on April 28th and 30th. This is because, once again, stablecoins are eating up MasterCard and Visa. April 23rd. PayPal gives a 3.7% return on funds in PayPal and Venmo in USD. Circle launches the Circle Payments Network with big banks around the world on April 21st. On April 1st, Circle files to go public on the New York Stock Exchange. Like I said, stablecoins are not slowing down when we look at what's really going on. The truth is that they're going faster and faster every day. More and more news about stablecoins comes out every other week. It's crazy that the US doesn't even have stablecoin laws yet. They're still being worked on. As soon as there are laws in the US about stablecoins, the real game starts. If we think about $231 billion, we might think, wow, that's a huge amount of money. That's a huge amount. Yes, not at all. If stablecoins are legalized in the US, this amount will quickly go up to about $230,000,000,000. We 10 times in a very short time. Laws won't just back stablecoins, that's why. It will give them permission to be used and merged into the US system. I'm now thinking about the Federal Reserve because we know that in April, Jerome Powell said he supported stablecoin legislation and even predicted that the digital asset space would become widely used. He also said that stablecoin legislation would be a good idea not only to support stablecoins but also to be very good for the US in general. But once more, when we think about the Fed's support for this, and by the way, I do have the video clip. I'm going to play that right now. But when we think about this, we also think about what the Federal Reserve is planning with stablecoins. I'll talk about that in a moment. First, let's pay close attention to this movie clip. Look it over. How do you see the chances of them getting better rules and the risks that could come from that for the system? So, for a couple of years, failures, scams, and other bad things were all over the news. We were also working with Congress at that time to try to get a legal framework for stablecoins, which would have been a good place to start. It looks like you saw that now. We failed at what we did. I think things are changing, and that whole area is becoming more mainstream. Congress is once again looking at a framework, a set of laws for stablecoins. Both the Senate and the House are looking at this. If you know what's in it, that might be a good idea. We need that. Now, there isn't one, and stablecoins are a type of digital product that could actually have a pretty wide appeal. They should have standard customer protections, and be clear, that's what the House and Senate are working on. That's a good thing, then. I also believe that some of us, along with other bank inspectors, were pretty conservative in the rules and guidelines we put in place for banks. Some of them were even more conservative. I think that will be loosened up a bit, and I think we'll try to do it in a way that keeps things safe and sound while also allowing and encouraging the right kind of innovation. But it does so in a way that once more doesn't put people at risk in ways they don't understand or make banks less safe. The crazy thing about this is that the person he's talking to is an advisor on Ripple USD's advisory board. Raghuram Rajan is right here. He used to be the governor of the Reserve Bank of India and was also an economist at the IMF. Besides that, he has been a well-known figure in business for more than 10 years. There were times when he was on the board of the Bank for International Settlements. This person is very well known in the financial world. He is now a member of the advice board for RLUSD. Another one is Sheila Bair, who works for the FIC and was the first chair of the Systemic Risk Council. Also, her name is one of the most well-known ones out there. There are also people here who used to be first vice president and chief operating officer at the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. Guys, it's crazy how many names are linked to RLUSD. We also know that Ripple has strong ties to the Federal Reserve for many years. To show this, let's look at Michael Borer. His job at Ripple was to give advice. As far back as 2022, we were told that he would be in charge of the Federal Reserve. We also went to the Federal Reserve's website to learn more about how to improve payments, which is where they introduced the U.S. Faster Payments Council. Now, this group was announced at a time when they were trying to find better ways to handle payments. Also, when we think about what the Faster Payments Council wants in general, it's very clear that they only want faster payments. They want to make sure that the whole banking system is up to date, and this is possible with certain technology. Yes, digital goods, digital money, DALT, and blockchain. All of this is changing the way payments work, and you should know that the U.S. Faster Payments Council is a part of this. But what's crazy is that we know Ripple is working with the U.S. Faster Payments Council because they did a world survey together in 2023 that showed important facts about how blockchain payments are being used. The blockchain and payments aren't just talk. If we really look at this, it's letting real value out. Our poll found that 77% of leaders think blockchain is good for customers. More and more perks like being open and saving money are being seen as benefits. Blockchain payments can be used in many ways, and people are interested in both local business-to-business transactions and transactions that happen across borders. Leaders are looking into a number of different options to find out which use cases are getting the most attention in our poll. Even though people are excited about Bitcoin payments, there are still some worries. The biggest worries are clear rules, changing prices, and the growth of the business. But progress in the law and rising acceptance show that the market is becoming more mature. Sustainability and efficiency are important. As blockchain technology changes, so do concerns about how much energy it uses and how it affects the Earth. Our poll shows that there is a lot of attention paid to the environment and how important it is for blockchain protocols to use little energy. We now know that the Faster Payments Council is a very big group. We're going to talk about the people who led it. Look at this study from Ripple and the U.S. Faster Payments Council, though. Just quickly read it to see what they mean. According to the World Economic Forum, 20 leaders now put a high priority on blockchain technology to fix the problems caused by old financial infrastructure. This includes encouraging the use of stablecoins and other digital assets to make financial systems that are interoperable, efficient, affordable, and easy to access. So everything we hear about stablecoins and the growth of them was planned. It has been planned by these groups. In fact, it's not new. Ripple has been a part of this since the beginning. We also go down here. It is being talked about that cryptocurrency-based rails will be added to Strike. This is USC stablecoin. They now have their own plans for stablecoins. A second reason why more people are using stablecoins for payments is probably that they save money. Users can save up to 80% when they send money across borders using a stablecoin instead of a standard money transfer service. When you send $500 to someone else, the cost of on-chain FX conversion, which includes both the on-ramp and the off-ramp, can be as low as $4.80. This is a lot less than the average cost of a transfer, which is around $20. Additionally, it is written below that clear regulations seem to be the key to widespread adoption, and the industry is moving in a positive way. Then, in the U.S., President Biden put out a plan for regulating crypto that was the first of its kind. Some of the most important points are how financial institutions can and should change to make cross-border deals better, and how digital currencies like CBDCs and stablecoins can help make the payment system balance. Once more, this happened in 2023. Now that it's been 2 years, laws are beginning to be made about stablecoin projects. In this case, Ripple was ahead of the game. On top of that, let's check out the Faster Payments Council. This is just the about part. The Faster Payments Council is a membership-based group run by the financial industry. Their goal is to create a world-class payment system where Americans can safely and securely send money to anyone, anywhere at any time, and have the money available almost right away. The FIPS is open to everyone who has a stake in the U.S. payment system, and